Get ready for the Squawking Eagles Podcast, the show that covers only the Philadelphia Eagles. Think different. Think Squawking Eagles Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Squawking Eagles Podcast. I am Mike, your host, and I am again joined by Miguel and Mark. How's it going, fellas?
In the words of the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, everybody's got a price.
I'll just say apology accepted. Welcome back, CJ, my man.
Welcome back, CJ.
What a couple days! What a couple days of free agency with the Eagles. We have signed, I think, let's say that the top 3 free agents on the market in their positions. Wouldn't you say? I would say yes. Well, we'll get into that. We are going to talk free agency. We're going to talk about what the Eagles roster is going to look like after these couple of days of free agency, and we're going to talk some rumors that we've been hearing around the league. Before we get started, if you want to leave us a voicemail and become part of the Squawking Eagles mailbag, it's 267-293-6963. Call, leave a message. We want to hear from you.
Nobody called yet?
We did get a couple.
Okay.
Not ready to put on the radio yet.
You got played off air for us.
Yes. So I will, let's leave some appropriate messages, and then we can get going from there. Follow us over at Squawking Eagles Podcast on Instagram. Also on the YouTube, Squawking Eagles Podcast, where you can see us as we are talking right now. All right. Let's just get into it right now.
Let's do it.
Saquon Barkley. I don't think I would have ever thought I'd be saying this, but Saquon Barkley is a Philadelphia Eagle? Question mark? Exclamation point? Wow.
Question mark again?
Wow. Question mark? I had to call a friend of mine who's a Giants fan, and he's like, "I'm glad you guys Eagles took him." He didn't like Saquon Barkley. He hates Saquon Barkley. So
of course he does. Now he does.
Now he hates him, right? Yeah. So tell Mark, what do you think, bud? I know you wanted Swift, but we got Barkley. I was talking to Miguel earlier. I want to hear what you talked about Miguel earlier. I want you to repeat.
Okay.
I want to hear fresh from Mark. What do you think, buddy?
Saquon is one of the most outstanding running backs to ever play college football. He brought light to an abysmal team for the Giants. His skill set behind our O-line should be exceptionally beneficial if our offensive coordinator this year decides to utilize a running back, and B, if he stays healthy. I'm excited through my enjoyment. I like Saquon. I never liked him as a Giant because Penn State, of course, liked him. Wanted to see him thrive in the NFL. Hated playing against him. Happy to have him on the team. However, I stand by my original belief is that he is about 2.5 years older than Swift. I don't remember the last time he played a full season. He's been kind of riddled with injuries recently. Granted, he was on a bad team, but it's one thing to have some bad seasons by just not performing well when you're behind a bad team. It's another to have injuries. Like those injuries the history of injuries doesn't go away just to have a better team in front of you. ACLs don't just get stronger because you got a better team in front of you. That doesn't, that's not how that works. Swift just had a Pro Bowl season, 1,000-yard season. Didn't get that many carries. Had less carries than Saquon. Is younger. Is cheaper.
He's got mileage. He's got some mileage.
So, don't get wrong. Again, it's of all the ones we could have taken, Jacobs, Henry, Eckler. I think Saquon was the best out of the options. I also, there's that internal like flame of like we just stole an NFC East opponent star player. Like if somehow Micah Parsons finally admitted that he absolutely loves Philadelphia and somehow came here, I'd feel the same way. I'd be like, haha, we took it from the Cowboys. Like that's fun. It's always fun to steal from your rivals. So like the potential, I'm excited. He's got a lot of potential. He's had a great history. He's a phenomenal back. I'm just a little confused. Like last year, we didn't want to play Miles. We paid $4 million to 4 backs. We had one that showed the potential, showed the flash he could be. We didn't want to keep him. And now this year, we signed an aging veteran for a lot of money. Last time we did that, it didn't pan out. Last few times we've done that, it didn't pan out. So I'm hoping history doesn't repeat itself, but like, let me be the asshole of the group. I'm 50-50 on this.
The thing is, with Saquon's going to sell jerseys. Saquon is going to.
Do you think he outsells a locals jersey?
I don't know. I'm gonna. Well, I will get one. I'm not going to buy one at full price, but I'll get one.
So, just because I got to put it out there, since you mentioned it, I made an Eagles jersey purchase the other day.
Oh, really?
I had to buy one.
What'd you
He's
buy?
no longer an Eagle.
Oh, Mariota.
I had to buy Mariota before he left. And it wasn't like I got him before. Like I knew he was already leaving.
He's a commander. Bump, 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 bump.
I feel so bad for him. But I stand by my thing. Like I said before, I mentioned before, I'm gonna get a duck from every team, and any of my favorite ducks that come to play for the Eagles, I'm gonna get their jersey.
Yeah.
So I'm hyped to have his jersey on the way in. They only had one color, but whatever, I don't mind.
Black or white? Black or white?
Midnight green.
That's all
they had.
Perfect.
You paid full price for it though?
$120. Yeah.
Yeah, you paid full price. If you would have waited till this weekend, you probably would have got it.
Because what's crazy though? I thought the same thing. I thought, all right, clearance. Waiting for that. There was only 5 jerseys left.
Yeah.
Like I was shocked how many of his were selling, and I was like, damn. Like for our backup quarterback who never really did anything, like why are you all buying his jersey? Like I know why I like him, but there's not that many Ducks fans in Philly.
I mean, we did have that tank for Mariota moment, so.
There's a lot of people out there.
And yet, even Chip didn't want to do that.
Debatable, but let's not go there.
All right,
Chip's name come up again.
Well, like, did we tank for Mariota? Did we draft Mariota?
No. We couldn't get that high anyway.
Yeah, we could have.
All right, so Miguel, let's hear what you have to say.
Mark might disagree with some of the stuff I say. Just give me a second. Let me explain. Okay.
I will shut my mouth for 5 minutes.
I am not a big fan of this move that Howie made. But after sitting with it for a couple of days and looking around the league and seeing where the other key running backs went to, it's clear that the NFL only has 3 elite backs.
Right.
McCaffrey, Barkley, King George, right? We all agree on that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Swift, definitely younger player, doesn't have that much mileage, was kind of injury prone, but he came in here last year and he did his thing. Did over 1,000 yards. Great. Fortunately, I don't know what it was. He didn't want to be here. He decided that he wanted to be in Chicago instead. We've heard some rumors, maybe what the cause was. We're not going to put anything out there because we don't really know. I think that was the key reason why Swift didn't come back. But when I look at Barkley coming in, I'm not a fan of the pickup. But like I said, only 3 elite backs. You get Saquon off of that MetLife Field. That right there is going to give him a better season overall. He's going to have a better chance to stay healthy. And I just think that he is one of the most prolific backs that there is, man. I mean, he gives us power, he gives us speed, he gives us another passing weapon for Hurts coming out of the backfield. He's a good pass protector. He just covers all the grounds that all the running backs that we've had in the previous seasons haven't been able to do. Gainwell couldn't pass block. Swift, I don't know. He was having trouble catching the ball out of the backfield. So bringing in Barkley solves a lot of opens up the offense a little bit more and gives Hurts a little bit more slack in his play.
It does give him more slack in his play, and also gives yet another weapon for Jalen Hurts to use, and hopefully Kellen Moore, who I think he utilizes the running back in the passing game more than the running game, would probably be better off to extend Saquon's life as an Eagle over those 3 years because of that ability to do that in his offense.
Yeah.
Um,
I basically love the pickup just because Giants fans
lost their minds.
Yeah, they were they were cringing, and in the words of Peter Rosenberg, they were repugned about the situation going on.
No, like I was talking to my friend who's the Giants fan, and he was more than happy to let Saquon go. He was not a big Saquon fan. He said he thinks Saquon dances behind the offensive line too much. He does get hurt. Now think about it though. Saquon has really never had a good offensive line, so he's probably going to dance around a bad offensive line, right? So maybe this is where he gets to hit these offensive line holes that they make, and it's a totally different player.
Well, you bring that up, and then in the New Heights podcast, Jason Kelsey, like, he didn't really say this about Swift, but I feel like it was kind of hinting towards the situation why they went with Barkley instead was because of that bouncing around. You got to hit the hole at 1,000,000 miles per hour. You can't just sit there, dance, and then hit the hole. You got to just go. And I believe that Barkley, although behind the bad line he was dancing, he was hitting those holes when he could. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's what he brings to this team.
Yeah, I agree. He's definitely going to change the team, and definitely has added yet another weapon. But Howie wasn't done. Howie wasn't done with just signing Saquon.
But before we get away from Saquon,
oh, I thought you have more to say about Saquon.
Well, it's because it's a response. It's like
okay,
the one thing has nothing really to do so much with Saquon. See, that's the one thing. Is like for me, when you're looking at the two between Saquon and Swift, I would say across their careers, yes, Saquon's the better back. There's no doubt. But I don't think that Saquon can bring that much more to the table if he's not utilized more.
Right.
Like if we use him the same way we used Swift last year, you're not going to see that much better out of him than you saw out of Swift.
That's what Mike is bringing up, is that with the new offensive coordinators, we think that he's going to be.
Eckler didn't have a great season under Kellen Moore. Tony Pollard and Zeke didn't have good seasons under Kellen Moore. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying.
But Zeke and Kellen Moore, in Kellen Moore's offense, Zeke was more utilized out of the backfield as a receiver. So, I mean, that was one of his best seasons. So, I mean, Austin Eckler, I'm sorry, he's a commie now too, and I feel like his career's over just going to Washington. Like, that's it. I think it speaks clearly that nobody else wanted him besides Washington.
That or the money got you, because I mean, Commanders had money to throw. They had like $98 million in cap space.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of players. Like Washington is a team that people go to finish their careers out. Like when the Eagle leaves here and goes to Arizona, their career is pretty much over. You know what I mean?
Well, look, Zach Ertz, he's signed with the Commanders. Zach Ertz signed with the Commanders. I'm not sure what's going on with that.
His career is
he wants to come back to Philly, man. Yeah. He still has a house here. He loves it here.
Yeah. All right, so we got Saquon. So Howie wasn't done. Howie was still cooking. He went and signed Bryce Huff. Cooking.
You call it cooking?
What do you call it? Dealing? Dealing.
I think maybe he was trying to plan a picnic.
I feel like with the Bryce Huff move was a bargain purchase. I don't really like it. As far as I know from Huff, he was a project for the Jets, and he actually became a double-digit sack leader. But
he was undrafted.
Right.
Undrafted.
So I'm not sure what he showed you on a bad team. Okay, granted, he probably, he's playing on the line with what's the defensive tackle?
There's
Williams.
a lot of them on that team.
Yeah, they got that big boy, the young boy.
Well,
I forget
not
his
Quinn
name.
Williams.
Yeah, him.
Williams. Yeah.
And a lot of the attention goes to him, and so obviously Huff is going to get his pressure, his sacks, just the same way Sweat got his when we had um, 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 Sue and what was the other
Joseph.
guy's name?
Joseph.
Joseph.
Joseph
Over
and
there, you know what I mean? They were able
Fletcher
to,
Cox and everybody.
yeah, they were able to, get that double team pushed to those players, and Sweat was able to make plays. And guess what? Last year he didn't have that. I mean, granted, Jordan Davis and
Carter.
Joan
Carter
Carter.
didn't have as strong of a season as we would have liked them to have. But who knows? Maybe they come back stronger this year, and maybe they don't hit that wall. And maybe Huff does do something. He takes advantage of that situation, but we'll see. I really hope that this whole, and I hate to jump, I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead here, Mike, but
Yeah.
the rumor is that Josh Sweat and Reddick are both on the block,
Right.
and I'm picking this pickup of Huff just tells me that maybe one thing, like they're willing to keep one of those two players, and I'm thinking they're leaning towards Reddick and seeing what they can get for Sweat, and they just put Huff in that Sweat position, but I don't know.
Yeah, I wanted to swing after we talked about the pickups. I wanted to swing around and talk about that, but we can talk about it right now.
I
Josh
think
Sweat.
that's got to be mixed in. Yeah, I feel like I'm on
Yeah.
the same boat, and I don't think that Huff's a replacement for either of those two.
Nope.
Because I think you know what you're getting out of Sweat, you know what you're getting out of Reddick.
Well,
Right,
Josh Sweat already thinks he's leaving town. He already said, "I'll see you around." Like he already
Right.
thinks he's gone. So
Right. I mean, because it makes sense, right? You bring in Huff. Obviously, he's going to take that position because, I mean, if you're getting rid of Sweat and Reddick, and you're going to come in next season with what Nolan Smith and Huff on the
I'll
other
say-
side, that's a
Imagine being Nolan Smith right now.
I hear you, but
why are you bringing him in? You got me.
yeah, but it's like what has Nolan like? And I love him. I got his jersey and everything. Nolan, I love you, brother. But what have you showed us last year? Like you got a couple pressures here and there towards the end of the season when they decided to use you, which we were all kind of upset about. Yeah, that you got hardly used. You maybe got like 10 snaps a game.
If that, I want to see him and Ringo, like just in general of rookies. I want to see both of them on the field a lot more next year.
Right.
Even if they're bad, let me at least see it. Like that's the thing that pissed me off is that we didn't even get to see it.
All right, we got a bit of a crowded linebacker room now with Reddick and I would say Josh Sweat's a linebacker and Huff.
They're kind of
like a hybrid.
They're calling it edge, and they're not calling them DNs. They're calling them edge because they're linebacker ends.
Yeah,
which is weird. Like the DN and the outside linebacker positions are melding into this edge position. The problem is though is that they're a little bigger than normal outside backers. They're not great at coverage, and they're a little smaller than previous DNs. So they're not they're speedy, but if you have a good D tackle, they almost become non-existent.
Which we've seen with Lane Johnson when he faces against Bosa and Parsons, they become invincible.
And you don't see DNs from like back in the day. Like you don't see the big boys that used to come around. Like you don't have like Dwight Freeney coming around just beating people up off that line.
No, you don't. Yeah, so like there's someone's going to have to, like Miguel, you said earlier. I don't know if it was before we started recording, but you said Josh Sweat will probably be a draft day trade.
Yeah.
So
and well, being that he said goodbye already, it's like, and he hasn't moved yet. It's like, why are you saying goodbye? Do you already know something that it's already in the works, and that's why you're saying goodbye now? And
Weird.
a lot of these teams set things up for if things that they're looking at break down on draft day, they can have that option to trade that out. So I'm thinking that's what it may be.
So after the Bryce Huff acquisition,
which, by the way, welcome to the team, both Bryce Huff and Saquon.
Yes.
Hopefully, you both have phenomenal seasons.
That's what we're hoping for. That's what we're hoping for.
Just understand, this is Philly. We're going to talk trash as much as we love you. So,
and that ties right into the next player that Howie has brought in. We have talked trash about him when he left. He talked trash about us when he left, and he comes on back. GJ.
I'm sorry.
He's back.
Remind me again, like 2 years ago, how was our secondary? It was like crazy.
It was an
pretty
elite
goddamn good.
secondary. It was a pretty good secondary.
And then we lost CJGJ. And what happened to our secondary last year?
Not so good.
We got
Not so good.
torched.
So the Eagles, so he brings back Chauncey Gardner-Johnson out of all things. Like it was either him or Justin Simmons, and he brought in a guy who we already know and appreciate. And when he left, he said our Eagles fans are fools and they don't know what they're talking about. And then he came back and he apologized. So I guess everything is good. Everything's under the bridge, water under the bridge.
You know what, though? I think because he feeds into this mentality that we have as Eagles fans, man, where it's like we go hard. And I think he knows that. Like, like we're gonna hate you or we're gonna love you. And we don't hate soft. Like if we're gonna throw shade your way, we're gonna throw shade repeatedly. And if we love you, we're gonna shower you with praise. And we don't care if you're on our team or not. We'll hate you.
So Miguel, do you like this signing or what?
I mean, yeah, I like it. It. Welcome back, CJGJ. The whole Philadelphia fans are obnoxious or annoying, whatever the phrase he used, kind of sat with me the wrong way. But you know what I mean? He signed the contract. He came back. He did the right thing and apologized before, anything was said at his first press conference. So all is right in the world, man. Sometimes we say things out of anger or whatever the case may be. And all is forgiven.
What? No, we would never say anything out of anger. Never. I've never said anything out of anger that I didn't mean.
Your nose seems to be growing there, Pinocchio.
I like that he's back. I liked him when he was here. He had 6 interceptions before he got hurt, and he did the same thing before he got hurt again in Detroit. So
he just always seems to be the player at the right place at the right time.
Right place at the right time, and that's
an actual player, which is what you want.
And that's what I was saying. That's what Eagles didn't have last year.
And if what I found statistically speaking out of Ringo this past season continues next year, where he's a lockdown at least with tackles, you're going to have a guy you don't like that allows a safety like that to make those plays even more because you don't have to worry about your player getting beat. If you know you got a buddy on the side who's like, hey, I don't miss tackles. Well, shit, then I'd go for that ball.
Yeah. So Howie brings back Chauncey. He has extended Landon Dickerson to become the highest paid guard in football. He extended Jake Elliott.
Like that.
He is now he's the second highest kicker or tied with the highest kicker in football. We know he extended Brandon Graham 1 more year.
The farewell
tour is going to happen. And he also brought in Zach Bond from the Saints on a 1-year deal.
Linebacker.
Kind of a linebacker backup.
That is how Howie treats linebackers, as backups. Hey, do me a favor, Nakobe Dean, if you ever listen to this, stay healthy this year, bud.
He has to.
We need you.
Has to.
The dogs on your team need you. We as Philadelphia need you. Like, you're the only linebacker I trust right now on our team.
Yeah,
until they get shot for Mike, and then Nakobe Dean goes to the throwaway section of the.
Dean's still more important.
Right. And another note is that another Eagle has retired. We were hinting about it, and sure enough, Fletcher Cox has retired as a Philadelphia Eagle. He's going to be missed as being around the. I don't know who's going to miss him too much, but. I liked Fletcher Cox. He was a good player, solid player, always healthy, always there. He was never injured, and when he was injured, he was out there still. So he's going to be missed. He's going to be missed.
He's definitely going to be missed.
Yeah, he's never even missed. It's just it's different than he's not even missed the way that Kelsey's missed, which I think he understands.
Right, it's a different miss.
Kelsey's a different level of love in this city because he just. Even though they're both from the same team, they've been there for so long for us. They're both there for the victory. Kelsey being the center and just being the voice that he was during the playoff run and just being who he has been for the community around Philly. It's just a bigger voice. So he plays a bigger role, but they'll both be missed, especially when he's play.
I remember an interview he did once. They asked him, when I guess it was after the Eagles had lost the playoff game. He goes, "Are you going to watch the rest of the games?" And he's like, "No, not really. I don't really watch football." I was like, "Wow, he doesn't really. He he sees it as a job, and that's what it is. It's his job, and he does it, and he gets out.
Imagine being that good at a sport that you just see it as a job. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like I don't get to the point where I have to love it. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, it's a job. But again, there was no big press conference. He put a thing out on Instagram, actually, and then
So like retired like most players do.
Yeah, like most players do.
Very few players do a Kelsey retirement.
Very few players.
He rode off into the sunset to his farm in Texas to run cattle and whatever else he does.
Yeah.
But he will be missed, man. I remember when Fletch came in, and I think I said this on the pod before. When he first came in, I friended him on Snapchat, and I told him a couple things like, "Hey, dude, man, if you bring a Super Bowl trophy home, man, we're gonna love you more than we will love Reggie in here, man." And it's exactly what I mean. He might not hold the same status as Reggie, but he brought a championship home, and we'll always love him for that. And thank you for the memories, Fletch. Thank you for the little point on the ground.
I'm gonna miss those sniper celebrations.
Yeah, love that celebration.
I'm gonna miss that.
You will be missed, man, and good luck in your future endeavors, my guy.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Is he a Hall of Famer? Is Fletcher Cox a Hall of Famer? Strong. I think it's a strong possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what his career stats are off the top of my head, but I mean, I don't see besides Dominic and Sue, and like Aaron Donald, and well, I can't even say what was the Khalil Mack. Even Khalil Mack fell off, so I would put him up there with those three, like in that class, like
for sure, for sure.
So yeah, I would think definitely a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. So that will do with what the Eagles did in free agency. I'm sure Howie's not done. Howie has some draft picks that have been given to him because that last year the Eagles lost Hargrave and CJ, and so they got some comp picks. The Eagles got a 3rd round pick, 2 5ths, and a 6th.
Awesome.
Now there's rumors that we all know what kind of a factory the Eagles have here.
Oh God, please no.
Right, I gotta bring it up. Bring it up. It's too much in my mind. I keep thinking about it. Like I need to hear.
I'm gonna throw up if you say it, Mike.
I won't say what kind of factory we are, but we're gonna talk about a quarterback right now.
I'm gonna drive over to his house and slap him. How about that, Miguel?
Please do.
The rumors are that Justin Fields is being targeted by the Eagles in more than 2 rumors I've already seen. Justin Fields is the rumors are they're a bit of a clickbait. We're talking about it.
Right.
Is that a thing? Is that something Howie would do? Because right now our backup quarterback is Tanner McGee. So
listen, like I said this earlier, Mike, it's like Howie hasn't learned anything over these last 5 seasons or so about quarterback controversy. Like, come on, man. You want to bring that in here? If you pay anything higher than a 3rd round draft pick, it's already a automatic like fire starter for this organization. Oh, when's he going to start? First bad game hurts ass. When's Fields going to start? Literally, I can hear the conversations already. Why do that to this team that struggled so much last year? No, man, don't do that shit. Like, if you bring him in for a 6th pick, cool. Maybe he gets some playing time if Hurts gets hurt, and we get something out of it next year. You never know. But it's kind of funny how he hasn't been moved yet. I mean, how does Kirk Cousins end up in the blackest part of America? Like, I can already see him dancing around with his chains on, no shirt. You know what I mean? Fucking doing the gritty and fucking in the strip club. Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand.
I can tell you exactly what's going to happen with Justin Fields.
Tell me, Bart, because I'm baffled by
I got you.
Preach it.
All right. Chicago is right now just listening to everything coming their way and just thinking about, all right, what could we get for Fields? What's out there? Because you know what they also could do? They could ship the 1st and keep Fields. And so right now they're sitting there going, all right, what does our compensation look like? Because if the rumors that I'm hearing is that the compensation for Fields is sitting around the 5th or 6th round. That doesn't bode well for a young starting quarterback.
No.
Mhm.
But you know what does bode well for a young starting quarterback?
Hmm.
Marvin Harrison Jr. And if I could take this first, knowing I already have the fourth, and say, who really wants a quarterback? Let that pick go away and get the farm. Okay, so what? You're gonna say I wait 2 picks later, 3 picks later, and I
as long
take
as
the best
right.
talent in the goddamn draft?
But that's as long as they're guaranteed that the team before them isn't going to take Marvin Harrison.
Well, they're not. Like right now, the top 3, the top 4 teams who need to draft all need to draft quarterbacks.
Mm.
So like, that's I mean, you make that trade or you go for it. Like so right now they're waiting because they want to see if they're gonna get they're trying to see if a team gets that hesitation, you know.
Right.
And you got to think if a team doesn't want to trade the package for the first, maybe they'll sweeten the deal for Fields. There'll be a draft day trade.
Right.
Draft day trade. That's what's going to happen. It's a draft day trade. Either the first or Fields getting traded draft day. That's it.
Well, I already predicted that Washington is jumping up. This is the first draft of Josh Harris's ownership. He's going to do something big to make a big time splash. Like
With
I
what?
really feel like they have draft stock to give up.
True.
I think what I think they're going to give up is 3 first-round draft picks
For Caleb Williams.
for Caleb Williams. That's what I think they're going to give up.
Imagine
Wow.
drafting a bust and having nothing left for your future.
This is my thoughts on Caleb Williams. If Ryan Leaf is saying that Caleb Williams is probably going to be a bust, I would lean towards what Ryan Leaf, because if anybody knows what a bust is, Ryan Leaf does. I would say stay clear away from Caleb Williams.
Look, I'll admit that CJ Stroud broke my understanding of Ohio State quarterbacks. Okay.
That's probably really hard for
However,
you to say.
I accept it. I accepted this. He proved his point doing what he did with the Texans. I think his coach is phenomenal. However, the same point made for Ohio State quarterbacks can almost be blanketed across USC players in general. Amon Ra was looked over, and he stands on that. He's trying to prove a point that USC players can make it in the NFL. Michael Pittman did the same thing. Like, look, we're not just, everyone's, they're a great college team, and then they never pan out in the NFL. Reggie Bush, great college kid. He had a couple good years, and like a lot of people say, yeah, he was okay.
Carson Palmer.
Quarterbacks, though, most of the quarterbacks out of the USC, people kind of laugh at. Carson Palmer's the only one to be, I think, they'll actually
Matt
win it
Leinart. Matt Leinart, he didn't win it all.
Most of them don't.
Mark Sanchez.
That guy's got how many Super Bowl rings?
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter. His last name is Sanchez. Got a problem with it?
Anyway, all I'm saying is that Caleb Williams has been in this bubble with Lincoln Riley his entire college career. Lincoln Riley is arguably the best coach in college football right now. So he's a quarterback guru. He builds this stuff around him. I mean, this is the same coach that made Kyler Murray a Heisman. Okay. Made what's his face down in I'm drawing a blank. Tampa Bay's quarterback.
Baker Mayfield,
Heisman. This guy makes these kids look great.
Yeah.
Baker has fought to earn his way since.
He earned a big contract.
Has been laughed at and has just scraped by on his skill set since. I don't believe in Caleb Williams. I don't.
Well, I ran into a Cowboys fan and he said that the guy the top guy, if he had the top pick, it's the guy from LSU. Who's the quarterback from LSU? He's the guy that everybody should go after.
Sure. If you want to lose, I stand by my belief. Michael Penix will be the best quarterback out of this draft.
Mm.
I know as an Oregon fan, that's completely against all things internally because Bo Nix apparently had a phenomenal pro day. He's got an amazing deep ball. It's phenomenally accurate. And it's a huge rival, but Penix
Yeah.
is just a smart player. I just
Mhm.
think he's going to shock a lot of people. I'd say give him 5 years because I think he's going to end up in either behind somebody where he's going to have to wait, or he's going to be on a team, But I think give him a few years, 4 or 5 years, like you're going to be like, oh shit, Michael Penix is there. We got to
Mhm.
watch out playing him this year.
I mean,
Um,
I think that you're right, Mark. Like Caleb Williams, I think is going to be the bust. I think Penix is going to be the highlight of this draft because he's going to go late. And I feel like I don't know why I heard this rumor, but I feel like Chicago's going to go after JJ McCarthy, or not Chicago, the Chargers.
Chargers will be, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that too, and I just thought to myself, I was like,
So does that mean somebody's waiting for Herbert? Is there a possible draft day trade where Herbert ends up in Denver or
I just like,
Wow.
I just can't. My
New
brain doesn't
Orleans?
wrap around it. Like, imagine if like you're sitting there going like, all right, first time NFL coach, I'm gifted for lack of look, call me biased. The records speak for themselves. A future Hall of Fame quarterback. He's not even 27 years old. Let me trade rid of him to bring up some rookie who played in a run heavy system. That's going to do well. Look at us. If you want to win, you're not getting rid of Herbert. He's literally the star of your team.
I mean, if you follow the blueprint to every NFL franchise, right? You get rid of the GM and you get rid of the coach. Usually because they didn't pick that player, they move on from that player.
Mhm.
So, I mean, how many times have they switched coaches in the last couple of years? You know what I mean? I think they just switched GMs this year. So, I mean, the writing's there on the wall.
They might. I just think they're stupid.
Yeah.
They do.
I mean, I agree with you.
moronic.
I agree with you. But man, like what I've noticed this whole draft or this whole free agent process is a lot of these free agents went to rivals. Like they didn't
They did.
go
Yeah, they did. No one went
to
cross country as much this year.
right. So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. This could be something. I think draft day is going to be exciting this year. Like I feel like
Oh yeah.
there's still
so
big
exciting.
names that got to get moved that haven't been moved yet, and it's going to be
And
very entertaining to see.
And it's in Detroit. I think Detroit's going to be a great city for it. Touching back what you just said about the Chargers, though, like imagine if Andy Reid had retired. Like I thought, and I said earlier in the podcast, like what if he retires end of the year? Because I heard that rumor.
It's questionable, yeah.
Imagine if he retired and someone comes up from college and goes, "Yeah, bye, Pat Mahomes. We don't want your ass." Like,
Oh, yeah, no.
like it
Imagine.
sounds
That's
silly,
just stupid.
but stat for stat, that's what you're saying. Like that's exactly what you're looking at, and it's just mind-boggling.
Yeah. I want to just reach back and talk about how Howie was able to sign all these free agents under the cap, and just the way the cap hits add up is pretty amazing. So we have Jalen Hurts at a cap hit of 13.5 million, AJ Brown a cap hit of 12 million, Devontae Smith 6 million, and Saquon Barkley is going to be a 3.9 million hit.
Why is Devontae Smith at $6 million?
Well, because they still have him for 2 years, so they're not going to restructure him at all. They're going to do it next year. They're not going to do that.
They're wait.
They're going to wait. They're not going to do anything with him.
I thought next year's his 5th year.
This is his 4th year, and so because he got drafted,
Right.
yeah. So Dak. So that's a total of 4 Eagles starters at $36.2 million a cap hit. That's a lot. That's not bad, right? So Dak Prescott, his cap hit is $59.4 million for 1 star.
Star or mistake?
A star on his helmet, at least.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Commercial star.
Here the New York Giants, Daniel Jones, buyer remorse.
40 million.
$47 million for 1 cap hit. And this isn't on here, but I know what it is. Deshaun Watson's cap hit is $63 million.
God damn. And they picked up Jerry Jeudy.
And they got Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah.
This is really Howie's season, man. Howie he does the numbers right,
Wow.
Yeah.
He's doing it right. He's doing it right.
I mean, he is, but like I was saying before we started recording here today, like I was able to hear how he breaks down the the money. Like, you know how we always say last year, I think we got in a huge debate how we can we can do this whole draft thing and still have money under the cap. Well, it appears that when you kick the money down the road and you make it guaranteed or whatever, and then you have to release them, like they would have to release what was the player that we were going to release before?
James Bradbury? No.
James Bradbury. All that money that it kicked down hits this year's cap.
Mhm.
So that's how he's able to do it. And
keeping him.
yeah, and it kind of makes sense. And Mike, when you said that the Eagles, well, I saw the news that we had signed Justin Simmons, and I guess that was false news. I thought we had signed both two new safeties, but in the situation that we're sitting in right now, like our secondary is not looking too shabby. Maybe pick up one or two younger DBs, and we have a very and maybe bring Maddox on a cheaper contract back,
Mhm.
and all of a sudden we have a well-rounded secondary. You know what I mean? And although the linebacking crew is going to be a little bit janky, it looks like, unless we do something in the draft. But I mean, I
Well,
give props to how he was able to bring in, and
mhm.
although it was offensive heavy again this off season, you know, he's got some pieces on defense, and let's just see how they do in the draft, because I really feel like they'll be targeting defense mostly
But
on this draft.
I think you're right. It's going to be targeting defense. Now that John Running was signed by the New York Giants.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Mike. I know you was hurt by
broke
that
my
one.
heart there. That was
Yeah.
my whole the whole thing. And
There's the whole Eagle Avenger T-shirt that you were gonna make.
exactly, it's done now. I think that signing Bryce Huff, and then also signing the linebacker from New Orleans. I don't see Jeremiah Trotter Jr. being drafted at all by the Eagles now at this point.
I think we'll do what we always do. We go with an lineman.
Another lineman at 22. Yeah.
Either side of the ball, we always go for lineman.
Yeah.
I think we go pass rusher if we're gonna get rid of Hassan Reddick or Sweat.
But you see, that would be smart. And Howie on draft day is rarely smart. He's mad a few.
But remember how he does trickery. How he makes you think he's going one way and then he'll go the other way.
We'll draft a tennis player. Got it.
Yeah,
tennis player.
I mean, if you want, it's like a Allen Iverson crossover to me, but
right, yeah,
Yeah.
So we're definitely going to have to talk about what the Eagles are going to do draft day, in new episodes coming up.
Yeah. I'm excited.
I'm excited. I think, I think most of I know the free agency signings were, I guess, talked about on Monday and Tuesday, but Wednesday everything was kind of finalized. Saquon hasn't really signed anything. He hasn't really done a press conference yet. I'm not sure when we will hear that, but when we do, we will definitely talk about it. Probably we'll talk about it.
And we didn't mention, though, is the other guys being picked up by other teams either. Like Jacobs going to the Packers, Derrick Henry to the Ravens. Like, that's actually a dangerous situation to have Derrick Henry.
That backfield with fucking with
Lamar
Henry
Jackson
and Lamar Jackson back there, that's a linebacker's nightmare. It's like,
not only that, what was their running back's name? I can't remember. I'm drawing a blank. Their young guy at the beginning of the year was phenomenal.
He got hurt.
Gus Edwards.
Yeah, he's still there.
Yeah,
he got hurt though. That's why they brought him in.
So you're gonna have him and Henry and Lamar.
They're gonna be a good team
in the box, and all you're gonna say is, "Hey, Lamar, can you throw the ball?" To be like, "Yes, I can."
Yeah, they're gonna be a good team.
What's weird is that I also saw Tony Pollard signed with Tennessee.
Yes,
now, my math is last year the Cowboys lost Zeke. This year they lost Pollard. They got Deuce Vaughn.
They do.
They got the Oompa Loompa, man. They got the Oompa Loompa.
They're okay. They're okay. They were all in on free agency. They're the only team to not sign a free agent.
Mike, they got their long snapper signed.
They did. I'm sorry. They signed their long snapper.
You got to report the news correctly here.
My bad. Right. They didn't sign anybody outside of their franchise. They didn't sign anybody outside their franchise. and they're the
Jerry
only
Jerry
team.
Jones was too busy taking a nap at that time.
He
4
was
o'clock is
definitely
his nap
napping.
time. It's over.
I spoke to Nat, our honorary or residential Cowboys fan, and he is very upset. He's upset about the Cowboys. He's upset about the Cowboys, getting blown out by the Packers. He said, he goes to me, and Miguel, another Cowboy fan, said the same thing to you, that they might not watch football anymore because of it. I'm like, okay, all right.
Shout out to a coworker of mine, Edmund. I in the locker room, I came across him and I said, "Yo, what's your team doing this off season?" He said, "That's not my team no more. That's not my team no more." I'm like, wow, these guys bail ship quick. The season hasn't even started yet. You got the bailing ship. Just as bad as the Giants fans cringing, man. It's great to watch. It's
You know
really
what though?
good to watch.
At least the Giants fans, at least the ones I know, at least I still want to be Giants fans.
Right.
One of them still wore their Giants jacket to the bus stop this morning for the kids.
And they're burning Saquon jerseys. They're peeing on Saquon jerseys.
The Cowboys fans smash their TVs, throw out their repertoire, throw out all their clothes, and say, "Hey, you know what?
They throw out their VHS tapes.
I don't play football. I don't watch football anymore. I'm gonna go watch basketball or something." They all became Mavericks fans overnight.
No, they became Lakers fans.
Dallas Stars. You're right.
Dallas Cowboys fans become Lakers fans
or Niners,
and they are also New York Yankees fans. So we got that's who they've.
You know how much it makes so much sense too when you ever see them. I swear to God, I could see like those exact stickers on the back of a car and be like, you just have no loyalty. You're just in it for the chip.
Yeah.
You're in it for my team is better. It's like, well, actually, your team's not. But,
right.
It is what it is, man. Cowboys fans are sad, and look, I don't blame them. I'd be sad too if our owner and GM decided to pretty much take a mental vacation during free agency. You guys already hear how much shit I'm talking on Howie now. Imagine if we did nothing. I'd be furious.
I can't imagine if they did.
I'd be ripping you guys apart.
We'd have to call security to hold you back, brother.
It'd be bad. It'd be bad.
So bad.
So beginning of the year, we talked about realigning the NFL to the new NFL, geographically correct NFL. So we did. We took stats and when it ended up where the 49ers had the number 1 seed. And it broke down that the Rams would have played the Eagles in the playoffs. The Cowboys would have still played the Packers, and the Seahawks would have squeaked in and played the Lions at home. This is for the NFC, obviously. And so after that, then the Eagles moved on, played the Rams, beat them. The Cowboys beat the Packers, and the Lions beat the Seahawks. And so after that, we had a showdown. This is all simulation, by the way. So Eagles ended up playing 49ers, a rematch of the NFC Championship game. And the Eagles came out on top of that game. And then the Cowboys and Lions played, and the Lions beat the Cowboys. And then it came down to the NFC Championship game, and the Lions did beat the Eagles to go to the Super Bowl. Now, in the AFC, it was kind of like this. It was kind of the same. The team that made it in, I think it's every team that made it in this year was the same. So, Ravens, Browns, Bills, Chiefs, Steelers, Texans, and Dolphins, which are all the same teams. It was pretty wild. So it ended up being the Bills beat the Browns, Chiefs beat the Steelers, Dolphins beat the Texans, and then Dolphins beat the Chiefs, Bills, and Ravens. Ravens beat the Bills, and then the Ravens ended up being the Dolphins to go to the Super Bowl. So right now, the Super Bowl in our new NFL is the Detroit Lions against the Baltimore Ravens.
I don't even know who to cheer for in this one.
That's a hard thing to think.
Detroit.
So I'm going to be doing the simulation soon, and we'll do some predictions this week, and keep a lookout on Instagram.
I'm excited for I'm doing mock drafts right now. I'm already excited for the drafts.
Yeah. I'm going to do another mock draft. Yeah.
And it has us at 22, obviously 22, but it got down to us, and my top options are Nate Wiggins, who hit or miss might not be available, and if he is, I think we take him, or the center that I mentioned the other podcast, Jackson Powers Johnson out of Oregon. Now, I love Nate Wiggins. I think he's a phenomenal corner. I think we could really use him. However, I think he's the second rated center in the draft, or top rated center in the draft, is right there. We just lost our center.
Mm.
Yeah,
Who
but
do
we
you
just
take?
paid Jurgens.
Yeah,
we
but
just paid Jurgens. You're not bringing another center in here. I'm sorry. As good as he probably is,
Nate Wiggins is sick. Then I'm just saying. All right, so I take Nate Wiggins. I agree. I'm cool with that. I got no arguments. Cool beans. Let's go. All right, I got an A+ for the draft.
Did you know? It just popped up on Instagram that the Broncos have officially released Russell Wilson. I didn't know that was I thought he was already released, but apparently not. But they're going to allow Denver to spread out his cap hit over the next 2 years. I thought
his contract is only like $1 million, and then Denver pays out 34 instead of the 85.
Right, so they're gonna spread out 50. They're gonna pay 53 this year and 32 next year as for their cap hits. I thought they had to do it all at once.
I thought so too.
Also, Flacco just signed.
Yeah,
Flacco,
he signed with
the Colts. The Colts.
Yeah.
Hey, and Gardner Minshew went and signed with the Raiders. Like,
hey, listen, it just speaks volumes what a veteran quarterback does for a franchise. And I'm sure they want to bring him in for Richardson now. I'm sure they saw some things early last year before he got hurt. They were like, hey, let's get out there and clean this up. I mean, fucking Gardner Minshew left there, and now he's going to be the starting quarterback over there in the Raiders if they don't draft anybody. You know what I mean? So,
it's been a crazy couple, 48 hours really. The Monday and Tuesday with the amount of players changing teams.
Well, no one changed teams till today because today is the actual.
Right, today's the actual day. But someone posted that next they should start where nobody tells anyone who they sign and who their players are on which teams until they run out of the locker room. That game one, you'll see who's on the team. Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
No.
Could you imagine?
I would hate that.
That would be horrible.
Right?
I want to know what jersey I'm buying before the season starts.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. Got to make our orders. We got to make our orders early this year.
Definitely.
Yeah, we do. Also, I was looking at that. So wait, all the money the Commanders spent, they don't have a quarterback, right?
Nope.
Or they have
Hal and Mariota now.
All right, so they don't have a quarterback. They don't have a quarterback. Patriots.
They don't have a quarterback. They traded Mac Jones. Mac Jones got traded.
I know.
Why would the Jacksonville Jaguars? Miguel, you should know this. You're up on the Jaguars.
It's my team.
Why are they trading for Mac Jones?
Dougie P, man. Dougie P. He needs that backup quarterback just in case.
Yeah, well, they traded for like a half bag of Skittles or something like that.
I think so. Half-eaten bag of Skittles.
Yeah, I think they gave him Bill Belichick's hooded sweater and Mac Jones.
There you go. But yeah, I'm just looking at that list because we were talking earlier about like if the Bears weren't to draft a quarterback, I'm like, well, the Commanders probably gonna draft a quarterback, and New England has to draft a quarterback. Arizona, I feel like Arizona has to draft a quarterback.
Kyle Murray. Kyle Murray's
second year of that deal, brother.
Yeah,
they're not doing that.
You don't think they're gonna draft a quarterback?
No. They already got too much money invested in that.
Chicago would have to try to coax New England to trade up enough to pass Washington for Caleb, so that they could fall back to 3, take Marvin, and get the picks. I think
doesn't Chicago have the first?
Chicago has the first.
Chicago have to trade back to 3 if they still want to guarantee Marvin.
Washington's at 3. They'll trade up.
Washington's at 2. New England's at 3.
Oh, there you go.
So I'm saying, like, trade back to 3, have 3 jump 1, so they can get Caleb. Then he still gets Marvin. That's all I'm thinking. Although the mock draft I just did had Marvin Harrison going 7th.
No, it's not. No way.
6 teams past him, including had the Chargers taking Malik Neighbors over Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, no.
Excuse me?
No. If the Bears don't get what they want, they should just take Marvin Harrison at number 1 and screw anybody else.
Agreed. Like, I wouldn't look. I understand drafting your needs, but there's also something about drafting the best player in the draft.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm sorry, as much as I hate Ohio State, Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best player in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wouldn't
By far.
Like, well, you shouldn't. Your wide receiver shouldn't be number one overall. Yeah, well, tell Jerry Rice he deserves to be number one overall, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on.
Yeah, I agree.
You take Marvin Harrison Jr. That guy has everything you want in a receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if JJ did what JJ did in the league, I think Marvin Harrison could do better, and that's insane to think.
Right.
Also, just because I just brought it up, that's a trade I'm waiting to see.
What's that?
Jefferson.
Well, yeah, because Kirk Cousins is gone, and they just signed Sam Darnold as their quarterback. So
imagine Minnesota trades Jefferson and the 11th to Chicago for Caleb.
Wow.
And then you're sitting there going, all right, so we're not getting Marvin Harrison, but we got Justin Jefferson, and we still have pick 9 and pick 11.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what?
I know Justin Jefferson was waiting to see where Kurt was going to go, and Atlanta. Does Atlanta make the play to get Jefferson down there?
I don't think they have the capital. I don't think they're out there.
I don't know. They got to do something.
That would help John down there too.
I would bet money that Justin Jefferson does not start this season as a Minnesota Viking. I would bet money on that.
You could be right.
I'll bet DraftKings probably has that as an option.
Yeah.
So our one of our favorite broadcasters, Chris Sims. You remember Chris Sims?
Oh, jeez, Chris Sims. He's the worst.
He's come out with a little thought about Josh Huff and what the Eagles. Would you like to hear what he said
about Bryce Huff?
Bryce Huff.
Josh Huff. Yeah. We same thing.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So this is what he said. Let's take a listen here.
A freak of nature. He is going to thrive in Philadelphia. Bryce Huff was one when you turned on the film, you were just like, oh my gosh, Bryce Huff is going to be awesome. It's the rich getting richer. Here's Bryce Huff going to the most loaded team in football, and for $17 million a year is ultimately, I think, going to be a steal for the Eagles. They're going to shove it up everybody's you-know-what here this year with this defense. 10 sacks last year in 17 games with 0 starts. Sacks are the thing that is the icing on the cake. The work is put in effing up the play. The work is put in flushing the guy out of the pocket and getting him off his point and hitting him legally after he gets rid of the ball. The sack is the sexy part of it that gets the attention and wins awards, but it's all the other stuff you do that Huff does. What a move. He is a freak of...
So, that's what he had to say.
While you're saying that, I get a notification from NFL Network about David Carr, who made a comment saying, right now, the Eagles are winning free agency.
Yeah. All these guys have nice things to say about the Eagles during the offseason, but when
during the offseason.
During the season, they have nothing but nasty things to say. I don't know.
Do you guys not listen to me when I talk on this podcast? It's all fucking clickbait, bro. That's all these media people do is fucking clickbait us to death.
Because
they talk nice about us during free agency. Oh man, the Eagles did this.
No, you know why? You know why though? Why? Go back 20 minutes of our conversation. What did the Cowboys fan tell you?
That's not my team.
They're not paying attention to football. Yeah. Who's still paying attention to football right now? I mean, you think the Chiefs fans aren't really because the teams are out celebrating. The Chiefs are out celebrating. They don't care. The Niners are more busy with their. The Niners fans aren't really fans. They're more busy with their entire city becoming a nuclear fallout wasteland. It's like these other cities around here. Like people don't they don't care about football now. The season's over. Philadelphia. We're like, oh, it's off season. We're gonna take our break. We took off 1 week because I was on vacation, all this stuff to do. We're back at it. We're talking draft. We're talking combine. We're talking free agents. We don't stop. It's Philadelphia.
Yeah. What other team talks about their GM the way we talk about it, Howie Roseman? Like, I don't really we it's called Howie season. Does any other GM have something called after them? I don't think so. Think so.
I bet you most other teams' fans don't know their GM's name.
Yeah, most likely.
Probably not very common. Where it's like in Philadelphia, I know the coach and GM for pretty much every team.
Mm-hmm.
I even knew it for the Sixers for a while. I don't know it now, but I did. You
I
know,
wish I didn't either.
But I mean, like, but I don't like no other sport and no other city are fans like that. Like everyone's about, oh, Bills Mafia. All right, cool. Are you guys celebrating football right now? You're not? Lame. So much for your teams. We're here still doing football.
You still, I know we're talking about GMs, but the Eagles GM Howie Roseman has set a precedent for I would say other GMs to like get stuff done, get it done the right way. But I only see Howie doing it. Howie's the only one I see doing it this way. They spreading out the money, maneuvering the cap. Now I forgot to also mention that the Eagles did sign Devontae Parker from the
I was
Patriots.
kind of hoping we just didn't mention that. I feel like that was his worst swing and miss
Kinda.
off season.
I mean, did you really want Quez Watkins to come back and play?
No.
Because I
draft
didn't.
somebody?
Like, I don't think Parker is an answer, but I'd take him over Quez.
Mike Williams is available.
Yeah.
Now.
Someone on Instagram threw out to me Odell Beckham. I'm like, no. No.
So he literally does not have an ACL anymore.
Yeah. I'm like, no Odell. He's I would say would be the biggest distraction of all.
Of course. He's a diva. And I'm sure him and AJ get into it.
Yeah. I think we've exhausted free agency for today. Yeah, we have the Eagles. We've already the Eagles are winning free agency as Derek Carr or David Carr? David Carr. David Carr has said. David Carr. Eagles now. The Eagles need to win the draft. The Eagles Howie has to do something in the draft to bolster this roster.
Unless Wiggins falls that far, or unless he makes some crazy trade, I don't think it's. To be fair, I don't think we can win the draft.
You think so?
I don't think it's possible.
Oh, I don't think it's possible.
No, because like what I just proposed earlier for like the Bears wins the draft. The Bears make one trade to the Vikings for that kind of caliber player. They win. They win hands down. There's nothing that's going to be getting Jefferson and 2 first-round picks. You're just not going to beat it. And the fact is that they 100% have that opportunity. And like, even if they don't get something that good, the Bears should win this draft. The Commanders might, because like I actually agree with what Miguel said. They want to make a splash.
Yeah.
I feel like we've made a splash the past 2 drafts. We might snag a player.
Right.
But I think we have to go back to, as much as I'd like to see us continue to draft well, I think we might draft a little more conservatively. I would almost put money on us trading out of day one.
Trading the 22nd pick?
I think if like either going to have a list of 4 or 5 guys, and if all of them are gone, I think they trade out.
Wow. What we're going to do is our next episode won't be about the draft. And I think we'll start talking about the draft in April, because that's when a friend of mine who is a Bears fan, he's going to come on and give us what he feels like the Bears are going to do.
Let me know when. I'll try to get a Vikings buddy on here.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to do that
him
sooner.
That trade, see what he says.
All right, so we can do that. Maybe we can start talking trade podcasts or sooner than later, because who knows what's going to happen. So maybe we start a little bit earlier, talk about the trade. I'll get him coming on maybe last week in March, and see where go from there. That'll do it for us. Thanks, boys. Thanks for listening. Again, if you want to call, leave us a message. It's 267-293-6963. Leave a message on that voicemail. You can leave messages over on Instagram, Squawking Eagles Podcast. We want to hear from you. What do you got to say?
Get some comments.
After the way the last 2 seasons ended here in Philadelphia, it's kind of a refreshing start to another season here. We ended it with that. We lost 6 of the last 7 games. The whole AJ being mad, AJ going on WIP and hashing out whatever his anger issue was with media. And, we dealt with the Kelsey loss. We dealt with the loss of Fletcher. You know what I mean? So things are starting to turn. You know what I mean? So stay with us, fans. Like I said, we was gonna walk you through this whole new process of the 2024 Philadelphia Eagles. It's starting to take shape, and you know how we do. EAGLES, Eagles, baby.
Let's go, Birds.
Let's go. Hey, Mike, hit that music, bro.